And welcome everyone to a Pac-12 chat. I'm Andy Katz, pleased to be joined by UCLA head coach Mick Cronin and Washington head coach Mike Hopkins. A lot to unpack here. Let's start with you, Mick, with the news that the Pac-12 has postponed all fall sports. I'm using the word postponed, not canceled, and because we don't know what's going to happen in the spring. But that also included men's basketball in the non-conference, at least part of it. Through the month of November into December. Let's first deal with your reaction, how you heard this news and how you disseminated it to your players. Mick, then Mike.
Well, we got on a Zoom call. I think that the most important thing is try to get to your guys right away and give them the positives. That we fully expect to play, and now we know when. I think part of our guys. I try to give everybody perspective of the player. The player has hopes, dreams, and aspirations, and they want to look good. So I part of me thinks, our product will be better, that we're all going to have time to prepare. And from a safety issues, Andy, for everybody hasn't been able to train like some places, and they've had stoppages at, and I know in the Big Ten, Fran McCaffrey, my friend, had to shut it down for a couple of weeks. But just from a safety issues, so now we're going to have time to get these guys back in the gym. We can get them through workouts and conditioning and build them back up. I think it's really important, and it's not really talked about a lot. You're talking about kids that are trying to do this for a career, because for our guys that don't play in the NBA, at our level, Mike and I can tell you, the rest of them, almost all of them play in Europe. And you're talking 6 figures and to 7-figure salaries. So safety, I think, is an issue. It's going to help give us time, and the quality of the product will be better, with the term we're using is delay. We're just delaying the start of our season. So that's how I've approached it with our guys. And I think that's a big issue that we're all going to have to be careful. And this gives us time to be careful in getting them back going at a full speed.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback too, Andy. To be honest with you, I was disappointed. But there's also the uncertainty the unknowns were so prevalent that you didn't know what was going to happen. So I applaud our league for making a decision. And now we can prepare. We know we're going to play. We've been in the gym for the last 4 weeks. It's been incredible. We've tested these kids 3 or 4 times. They've passed. They've worked. Just getting them back in the gym, having a sense of unity and being part of the team and some form of normalcy has been a huge thing, especially with the mental health. And so I think what Mick said too will be better for it. Now we know what to expect. Now we know how to prepare, and that will be great for our league.
So I want to pick up on that, because both of you guys are located in what were and at times have been hotspots. So you guys fully grasp the gravity, the severity, of this pandemic that I think parts of the rest of the country, some do and some don't. So when the Pac-12 issues, pretty stark medical news that they don't think it's safe at this moment in time, certainly where we are in testing. And I'll start with you, Mike, and then Mick, if you can piggyback because you go back to what happened at the beginning in Seattle and in Southern California. How much can you guys relate to what this pandemic has done to your communities at large, so you understand wanting to be more cautious at this time?
Well, yeah, at the end of the day, it's all about our health and safety of our student athletes, bottom line. And that's how the decision was made. And I really respect it. I think there's a lot of unknowns, like I said before. Every state is different. And like you said, we were the start. And so we've calmed it down a little bit, but we're still have a lot of work to do, especially the league. And like I said, I applaud and the conference for making a decision, a hard decision, not the most popular decision for a lot of people, but with the best interest in mind, which is the health and safety of our student athletes. And so that's what this whole thing is about. And our environments, I guarantee you, Mick will tell you the same thing, coaches across the country. The safest environment that they can be in right now is on their college campus, working with their coaches in their little, bubble, getting tested, having some normalcy. And it's been a good thing for us.
Yeah, I totally agree with Mike on this, Andy. mental health, having his guys back, looking forward for my guys, just for them knowing they're coming back and getting them a hard date is important for mental health and the safety, big issue. I think for a lot of young kids and guys that have our job, maturity is a big thing. Like, even explaining what the word means in the past to some of my players, where you can care about somebody besides yourself. That's what I give them as the definition of maturity. And when I say that, I think that this pandemic and dealing with this is forcing these guys to mature. When we talk about, like, Mike's guys have been back, I know Colorado's done it all summer successfully. I think that part of it's a good thing. It's forced our guys to grow up, and they're going to have to continue that to make good decisions for their families at night when they're away from us, when they're on campus, and they're fully capable of it. I think that's probably a good side effect of what's going on with this, because that's really what this is all about, getting guys ready for the real world.
So let's go ahead and spring forward to campus life. It's going to be incredibly different. You tell me, Mick, and then Mike, about what are the chances that your athletes can be on campus with either a hybrid or online leading up to January 1st, to where you can actually have these workouts and at some point, hopefully, have 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 5-on-5 at some point.
I think everybody's checking in. I read it. Andy Enfield, the semester schools at USC's checking in. Talked to Sean yesterday. Arizona's, their kids are all checking in. Mike's guys are back. We're on the quarter system, so our guys are in summer school online, and we're working on even bringing them back before we start school, because we don't start till late September. So I think everybody's going to have their guys on campus. It's just a matter of, how will your protocols progress as far as your workouts. Some people have started earlier, like Mike alluded to. Most people go from individual workouts to small groups to eventually you get approved for 5-on-5 in contact. I think that's pretty much standard around the country, how the progression of once you start is going.
Mike?
Yeah, you know what? It's like I said, we've done it. We're in their 4th week, and it's gone really, really successful. Our kids, like Mick said, quarter system, we're finishing summer school B right now, but it's worked out well. And Mick touched on it a little bit earlier. I think the biggest thing is them being mature enough, not what they do in our footprint, but being responsible enough and care enough about their teammates, the coaches. I'm 50, just turned 51. I'm an at-risk guy, so we're all kind of taking care of each other, and that takes a lot of commitment and effort from all these guys. And so far, so good. And we just try to remind them every day. And as Mick knows, we try to tire them out with playing hoop as much as possible, so they don't want to go out at night. So it's been really good for our guys. They've done a heck of a job so far. I'm really proud of them.